fun to talk about some of the musicals that I have been in the past. I've actually been in a lot more like cabaret style shows where it's just a mishmash of different songs and scenes from different plays and musicals. So a lot of my years in theater, which were a lot of years, there were a lot of years, I mostly did the cabaret style shows. But I have been in actual musicals as well. I was in Philadelphia Chickens. I'm pretty sure Philadelphia Chickens is like a book for kids and it has a collection of songs with it? Something like that. But we did it as a musical, so like there was a storyline and the songs from the book thingy were in it. I was a duck and a bee and some other things, I think. There's video of it and it's really cute because I was like, okay, so we were all on the stage the whole time, so it was just like a row of kids in the back of the stage, and then when it was our turn to like be part of a song or a scene, we'd get up and do it. And I was like, this was my first time doing like a show, and I remember every time it was someone's turn, I'd be like, oh, go, 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 go. Like I wanted to make sure everybody was ready and everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, so I was like, go, go, it's your turn, go, go. It's really funny and it's really cute. I was in How to Eat Like a Child, which was definitely a really fun musical, and I recommend it for like children theater. The songs were really fun, the scenes were really fun. I still remember a lot of the songs by heart from this show. I just remember having a lot of fun with that one. I was in Honk twice. Once as a child and I was a duckling and like froglet and like all the little tiny things, and once in middle school where I was the bullfrog, which was so fun. I loved Honk both times. It has such a good message and it's fun, and I don't know, I just had a lot of fun doing it both times, but I definitely had a blast as the bullfrog. Like, what a fun role. Warts and All was such a fun song to sing. I loved being the funny one, even though I really wanted to be the cat, like so bad. I was really going for that role. Like, I was giving it my all. And you know who got it? Elise, who you've seen in my videos. She ended up being the cat and I was bitter. But I ended up having a lot of fun as the bullfrog, and I feel like the cat would have been a lot of pressure on me because up till then I hadn't really had like a lead role. So it's probably good that Elise was the cat. And she was a good cat, I'll give her that. Elise was always beating me at like bigger roles, and it's fine. Love you, Elise. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. The way we did You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, everyone had their own like scene or song. So there were multiple Charlie Browns, multiple Lucys, multiple Sallys, multiple Linuses, like everybody got a chance. I was Lucy and I got to sing Little Known Facts. And I remember it was my first solo and I was shook. I couldn't believe they picked me, and I went home and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a solo. And it was like kind of scary, and I was definitely a little shy. There's video footage of it. I was a little bit shy. But it's really cute to look back on. My little tiny voice and my little shyness, like it was really cute, and that was a fun song, and I used that song for auditions in the future. I remember thinking I was so cool, me and my solo. Of course I was in Seussical. I think every young person in theater has been in Seussical at least once, if not more than once. I was a Who, and I really wanted to be a Wickersham brother, but I ended up being a Who. That happened to me a lot. There were roles that I really wanted and I ended up not getting them, but I ended up having fun anyway, so it's fine. I liked being a Who. I liked the colorful costumes. I liked the hair headbands we wore. I thought they were fun. And I loved my little pink dress that I got to wear, and I remember just looking up so much to the like bigger kids that were Who's with me. I was like the youngest Who, I'm pretty sure. I was at least one of the youngest, if not the youngest. And I thought the older kids were so cool. Same thing as when I was a duckling in Honk. I thought the older kids were so cool. Like the person that was playing my mom and my dad, I was like, they're so cool. That was always really fun. I was in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, another one that a lot of young people that do theater are in. What even was I? I don't even know what I was. I was kind of just an ensemble role, like I was here and there and everywhere. This one I really remember going home and like practicing the dances because they were a little bit harder than the dances in Honk and Seussical. I definitely remember practicing in front of my mirror. This was another one where I really looked up to the older kids. The girl that was playing Joseph, I really looked up to her like a lot. I thought she was so cool and I wanted to be her. And our set was super cool. Our sets were always cool, but I remember that one being like really cool. The next two that I were in were two that we kind of made up. So Narnia and Alice in Wonderland. In Narnia, I was kind of just like a woodland creature elf person, but the set was so insanely cool for that one. We had the wardrobe and like it was so cool. Here's another example where I really wanted a role and didn't get it. I really wanted to be Lucy. I remember practicing that audition and just like I wanted it so bad. And I remember at the costume fitting after we got our parts, I saw the girl that was Lucy and I was like, oh, whatever. I didn't say it to her face, but I remember seeing her getting her costume and I was like, that should be mine. We ended up being friends later on in our lives, so it's all good. As an elf, I got to wear these ridiculous long shoes. They were like this big and they were kind of hard to get used to. It ended up being really fun. Alice, the Alice in Wonderland show that we did, ended up being probably my favorite show ever. I was the March Hare and it was my first like named role that wasn't just like a shepherd or a who. I was the March Hare and it was so cool and so much fun. So much fun. I had a blast. I had the time of my life on the set for that and just like rehearsing it. It was so fun. The tea party scene was always my favorite part of Alice in Wonderland and I was just so shocked and so shook and so grateful that I was the March Hare and it was so cool. Such a fun show. I love Alice in Wonderland. You guys know that it's like my favorite Disney movie after Peter Pan and I love the books and I'm just like, oh, it's so good. It was so fun. Oh, it was so fun. And I got to do my hair like super crazy because I had really long hair at that point. And I got to put in like multiple ponytails. I think I had 8 ponytails. And the tea party was so fun. It was so fun to just be crazy. I remember we always had to do like speed line readings so that we could get this like crazy pace going. And it was just so cool and so much fun. I have been in Willy Wonka 3 times. That's a lot more than I should have been. So I was in Willy Wonka at my middle school and I was just like a chef in the Augustus song. This is like Willy Wonka Jr. or whatever, so I was just like a chef. It really wasn't that thrilling. Second time I was in Willy Wonka, I was Augustus's dad. We had so many kids, so we did it as like both parents went with the kids, so like Mr. and Mrs. Beauregard, Mr. and Mrs. Gloop, that sort of thing. So I was the dad. And that was cool because it was, once again, like I had a named character and I was like, this is great. I really wanted to be Veruca or Violet, but it didn't really work out for me. Moral of the story, I never got what I wanted, but I always had fun. I had to like gel my hair back and I had a mustache and it was a good time. And then the third time I was in Willy Wonka, I was Violet, so it did work out for me eventually. And that was at my high school. And that was a stressful time. I don't know if anybody from that is watching my videos, but if they are, they know it was a stressful time. We were crammed and like nothing was getting done and it was so frustrating and people were mean to me. I'm just gonna be honest, like people were actually awful to me during that show. I was treated like I didn't matter and my ideas didn't matter. Like there's a really specific example, I'm not gonna name names in case people are watching this. Here's the tea, guys. So we were trying to figure out what to do with Violet's suit, like when she blows up or whatever. And I was Violet and another girl was Violet because there were 2 casts. And we were talking to like this girl that was the assistant director and I mentioned an idea, like I had a great idea and she was like, she said something so rude to me. She was basically like, be quiet, the adults are talking, but not in that kind of language. And I was like, excuse me? And guess what? They ended up using my idea. So basically that was not a good experience, but I had fun being Violet. That was the biggest role I ever had. So it was fun, but not fun all at the same time. And there's the tea for today. I've never really spilt tea in a video, but it feels good. I was in Into the Woods. Into the Woods was a blast. My second favorite experience after Alice. I really wanted to be Little Red Riding Hood, as I have mentioned in many videos. That didn't work out for me. Are we shocked? I ended up being Florinda, which is one of the stepsisters, and I had a blast with that role. I made that role my own. I remember people telling me that like I really stood out and I was like a highlight of the show, not to be like, oh, I'm so great, but I really went far with that role and I'm really proud of it. So I'm gonna give myself a little moment to brag because I worked hard, I put myself out there, and I just went for it completely. And it was so fun. I made Florinda like the weirdest she could be and like the most clueless she could be. Instead of being like, oh, I'm not Little Red, this stinks, I was like, I'm Florinda and I'm gonna rock it. Because every role is important and every role was a chance to show my director that like I can do this. I just went all out, and I'm pretty proud of it. I was kind of in All Shook Up, but not really in All Shook Up. I was more of an assistant director. That's an interesting show, I gotta say. Definitely not my favorite experience or my favorite show, but you know, it's fine. I liked being an assistant director. I liked being like the one that had to stay really organized. Like I liked taking notes and writing blocking down and organizing music, and just like, I liked the organization bit of it. So aside from these musicals, I was also in cabarets, like I said, and like 10-minute play festivals and other things like that. If I had stayed at my high school and not gone to cyber school, I would have been in Little Women, and I wonder how that would have gone. I 100% would have been trying to get the role of Amy, but who knows if that would have happened. It probably wouldn't have. Just judging by my what's the word? My track record, that's the word. Let me know in the comments if you have been in any of these musicals and if we shared a common role. I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people. Bye!